Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Wild Stories. Ladies and gentlemen, I got the legendary. Legendary, you better damn yell for let them damn know.
All right.
We got the MC Essential in the house. How you doing tonight, baby?
Hey, man, I'm good as I can be. How about yourself?
Good. Man, you know me, winning 15 damn titles, looking as good as I am,
Hey.
and being with the damn sweetest women and some of them damn she-males.
Hey,
You know
man.
how I am.
Hey, I ain't gonna tell you business like that. You know what I'm saying?
Hell, damn, telling everybody I get a little bit more.
Hey, that's all right, my man.
Now listen.
All right.
We've been on Wild Stories, and that last episode, I damn tore it up.
Oh yeah, you did already, man.
Now listen, I heard you had some damn wild stories.
Oh man, so you gonna put me out there like that?
I'm gonna put you out there and damn reel you in. What you got goddamn going on?
Well, you know, about a year and a half ago, I
Yeah,
put
go
out
ahead.
a mixtape called 5 Finger Discount.
Exactly.
You had me on your show.
Exactly.
I had the most fun I could have in one show.
Hell yeah.
And, you know, the thing about it is that, you know, I've been asked, you know, what, why, and how you came up with what you came up with,
Yeah.
and all this other stuff. And so, you know, I'm looking forward to, like, you know, sharing a little bit of that. You know, it's going to be
Keep
a
it
little
going.
bit. It's going to be a little bit, you know.
Keep it fresh.
First and foremost, you know, we'll start with the title.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is I was not going to call it 5 Finger Discount.
Well, what you gonna call it?
I was going to call it something different. I had no idea what it was. Actually, it was a tape. My good friend Greg Brady, who owns Anchor Coffee Company, where I've done 2
Shout
shows
out.
at. That's my man right there, Greg. You're the man. The thing about it is that he came to me in like July. Well, actually,
Yo.
I came to him in July.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, hey, Greg, I'd love to do a show with your coffee shop. He said, dude, I was just thinking.
Hell yeah.
I didn't think he was going to say yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was going to say yeah. I thought that he was going to say, nah, man, I don't have time.
Just kept in the plane.
Absolutely, and that's what having good friends does for you right there. And that was great. So he did that, and I had like a little bit of material. I had like maybe, you know, 8 or 9 tracks already done. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I think I can get it done before. And he gave me a date, and it was October 28th. And I was like, okay, I can get this done. I can get this done. It was October 28th of 2018. So I was like, okay, I believe I can get it done. I can get it done. I got it done at the beginning of October. Everything came back.
What a
the
deal.
way, yeah, exactly. Everything came back the way that it worked. And the reason why I called it 5 Finger Discount was because I wanted to give everyone a steal of a mixtape. And plus, I love using the phrase 5 Finger Discount.
Exactly.
And, you know, I felt like, you know, that would be a great title for a mixtape. So I decided, hey, we're going to go ahead and do a mixtape called 5 Finger Discount. We're
Hell
going to get
yeah.
it done. That's what I'm going to call it.
Made a damn right choice.
Hey, I appreciate that, y'all. So as we go through all the track listings, you know, of course, it was 18 tracks. I did 3 skits in it. You know, the first skit was I took from a movie called Carlito's Way.
Oh yeah.
Now, the thing about it is I'm a big fan of Al Pacino.
Exactly.
Love the actor. He's
It's a good movie.
He's a great actor. Yeah, it was a great movie. But I'm going to be honest with you guys. The book is better.
Oh, look out.
The book is better. I mean,
Already shooting out.
and the book is called After Hours. So if you're looking for Carlito's Way, you're getting the prequel of the movie. So you got to read After Hours, and then you'll get it from there. But see, I was a fan of After Hours more than the actual movie. But the movie was good. I liked the
keeps
movie.
it going.
Movie was very good. The part that I took was the part where he's in the courtroom, and he's telling everyone, "Hey, I'm done. I'm done with this life of crime. I'm done with this silliness that I've been doing for a long time. I'm done with it, and I'm gonna be a changed man. I'm a different man." I had that feeling, you know, in my lifetime, of course, with me crossing over into my 30s, me crossing
Hell yeah.
over into my
it
spirituality. I was like, you know what? I'm fed up with a lifestyle of just doing a whole bunch of stuff that is not even what I want to do,
Not
or
your
it's,
style.
it's not my style anymore. I grew out of it. I'm out. I'm done. It's a wrap. It's over. And that's the way I felt. I felt like Carlito. I kept the judge in there when the judge goes, I can't believe this. I kept the judge in there because those are doubters and naysayers, people who don't think that you're trying to go after what you want to go after or trying to live the lifestyle that you're trying to live. And so I kept those guys in there, and I wanted to do that. And, of course, I kept the harmless dig where he looks at the prosecutors and says, no hard feelings, right? I have to do that because that's the type of person that I am. I like to dig a little bit. I like to take a few digs, if you will, have a little fun. You know what I mean? But, you know, the whole aspect of it, the whole aspect was to was to show everyone and to let people know, hey, look, this is the life that I want to live. I want to live a different life. This life that I was living, it's not really me. It was cool for the time being, but not no more. It's a wrap. It's over. So that's what I wanted to do with that first skit. So that goes for line. Then I go into like my next track, which was The Real Smith.
Hell yeah.
That was actually the last track I recorded. So my good friend Ryan Barber, Ryan R&B, he actually put out an album, just to plug his album. He actually put it out on the 20th, so make sure you go download that. My buddy Ryan R&B Barber, go and download his album. Really good. So Ryan, I've been talking to him about doing original beats. I've been talking to that guy for a while. I've been doing music with him for a long time. Real cool dude. He's a local from Wilkes County. That's what I love about him. He's a local guy.
Local boy.
That's what I love about it. So I go to him and I ask him for a few beats, and he actually he did 4 of them for me. And those are copywritten, and this song right here I have, and it's mine forever and ever. So I'm happy about that.
Got you covered.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I loved about it. And so pretty much what I wanted to do was just give an intro to everyone. Pretty basic intro track. Me being a hip-hop artist and, you know, trying to get at you with witty sayings, witty metaphors. Wanted to get at the people and let them know, hey, this is what I'm doing this for.
Covering all bases.
That's what you got to do. And, hey, since I'm a baseball guy also, too, that always fits in with me as well.
Booyah.
So, yeah, The Real Smith was a song that I wanted to, like, you know, get everybody into the tape, get the party going also as well too. So I definitely wanted to do that, and so I was happy with that track. Loved it, had fun with it. And now,
oh hell yeah,
hey, that's what I do. Now the third track, By Your Side. That's a little bit into my spirituality right there. That was a Jadakiss cover that I done. Jadakiss, one of my favorite rappers. I sat on that track for about 5 years. Didn't know what to do with it. I mean, I loved the beat, loved everything about it, but it was just I didn't know what to do with it. But until, you know, this whole leap of faith that I've been taking, I was able to put it together. So By Your Side is a song that sticks with me because it's me getting in touch with my maker, and it's showing everybody why I choose what I choose.
That's good.
It came from, I actually had a dispute with a guy that I worked with. I had a dispute with him, and it really, really showed me, you know, once again, I ain't trying to preach to nobody. You know, I'm still cleaning up myself as we speak. But, you know, it's one of those things where you just realize, you know, people and family and friends, you know, they're going to leave you. Not saying that, you know, viciously or vindictively. Sometimes it is. Sometimes. But also, friends and family will leave you because, you know, they're gonna die.
That's how life goes.
That's how it goes, man. They're gonna die, and they expire. But one thing that needs to be understood is that God is always gonna be by your side. So that's where I got that from, and that's where that came from. So definitely, and Ammunition, which is a Nas cover. I've been listening to Nas for a long time. He's one of my favorites. He's actually my second favorite rapper of all time. So I love Nas. And, of course, one thing that has really been prevalent over the news, especially your news media, is police brutality.
Yeah.
It's just something that's just is there. Me being a correctional officer, you know, my 3 years of corrections, I see both sides of the spectrum. I see the civilian side.
Get your eyes open.
Definitely. I see the civilian side. I see the actual uniformed officer side of things. I understand that, and I get that. What I'm embodying in this song is that, you know, police brutality is going on. I track the killings of unarmed black men, and it hurts. Then I go and I talk about, you know, at one point in time I allowed people, you know, in my life to use racial slurs, but the only reason why I told them to is because, hey, I know what you mean. I know where your heart's at, but in actuality, I really don't. With what's been going on with elections, what's been going on with police brutality, sometimes you really got to take a backseat to that and say, look, a real friend, a real person is never going to use that, even being friendly.
Hey, keep it going.
They're not going to do that. I mean, if they're your friends and they really care about you, they love you, they're going to respect things about you. They're going to respect your religion. They're going to respect the person that you are. So people who do that are just the type of people that you don't need in your life. You don't need those people. You need to let them people go. Let them hang out with somebody who's cool with that. As for me, I'm not. You know, with where I've gone in my life, being a person that's trying to be successful in the community, be successful with my spirituality, be successful with music, be successful in everything that I do, I can't have that negativity around me. So that's what ammunition is. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm giving people ammunition to not like me, but yet and still, it's not because of me being vindictive. It's because of who I am as a person.
Load it up.
That's what you do. I mean, and if you're a successful person, then that's going to happen. You're going to have people that are against you. You're going to have people that don't want to be a part of your dream or don't want to be a part of your vision. They want to at first.
Yeah.
Because the getting is good.
But once they understand you're not going the same road, that's when they split off.
There you go. See, you understand completely. I knew you would. So that's why you're the champ. That's why you're the man.
I do what I can.
Now we go to the fun part. Got It Good, which is a cover from Lunez. I Got 5 on it, which is a song that I liked when I was a kid until I found out the real meaning. You know, I still like the song, but, you know, it's a real different. It's a weed smoker song, but the vibe is great. So I just took Got It Good and turned it around into something positive. It's something that I wanted to do, show lyrical prowess, of course. Want to show that, hey, I can actually rhyme, and also pull a spiritual aspect into that song. So that's the reason why I call it Got It Good, because with the way I look at life and the way God's blessed me with what God has given me, I got it good.
He's taking care of you.
There you go. Which leads into Pray. Now, to be real about it, Pray is going to be a song that I hold dear. Reason why is because that was the very first original track that I did with my boy Ryan. That was one of my very first ones. Hey, I appreciate that.
Woo!
I appreciate that, no doubt.
Shout out from the infield.
No doubt, but it was one of my favorite tracks to do. It may not be like my favorite on the tape, but it holds near and dear to me because what it is I wrote that song probably about maybe a year and a half before this tape even dropped. And the reason I did that was because, you know, I was just got into that writing mode. You have some days where you just wake up and you start listening to everything and you just start writing. And I went to town. I wrote that song. I wrote the first 2 verses in one day. Then the next day I went to church with the family. Mom and Dad went to a 3 o'clock program at the church, and I stayed back home, and I just finished up the last verse. And when I got done with it, I was like, wait a minute, this song does not need to be like a mixtape track. It doesn't need to be like a track that I do a cover on. This is really, really me. This is really how I feel. So actually, it's not the reason why I named the song Pray, is because I prayed beforehand. Pray, of course, for the hook, but I really actually did pray for this song. I prayed over this song.
It's good.
And I was like, you know, this has got to be something original. When I got finished praying, I got on my Facebook and said, I know producers. I know people.
Boom.
What am I doing? Sitting here being dormant. So I messaged every person.
Keep it going.
I messaged every single producer I had. And Ryan responded back first. And he was like, I'll cook something up for you. I got you. And he did. And he cooked it up. And it was great. I went to my buddy Brian Bailey's house and recorded the track at his house and sent the vocals to my buddy Ryan, who was in Asheville. He mixed and mastered everything. We had a track, and it was a done deal.
Hell yeah. Listen, folks, you better hold on, because when we come back, it's going to be damn wild.
Oh, yeah.
You better stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Keith from Man the Polar. Are you enjoying the music coming out of your headphones?
I'm just not enjoying the music coming out of my headphones.
Have you been disappointed with the music coming out of your radio?
Yes, I have been disappointed with the music coming out of my stereo.
Having trouble finding music that's right for you?
I am having trouble finding the right music for me.
Well, have you tried And the Polar?
And the Polar.
Well, for just a limited time, you can get Ann's first and brand new second album for just $8.99 all over the digital landscape.
No way! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wild West Show. I'm the Wild West himself, as you can tell by my appearance, looking exactly like the man, the champ, the one, the only. We've got Mr. MC Essential. Oh, folks, I am tore up. So much so that I'm going to let Falcon join in. Falcon, jump in whenever you're ready. All right. Hey, everyone. This is Falcon. Shannon, I've been enjoying the stories within about 8 feet from what I'm going to step in for a bit. But,
hey, it's all right.
Let's just pick up where you left off.
Oh, man.
Get into it.
Well, first of all, I appreciate it. You did a wonderful job being Wes. And I guess Wes
It's hard, big shoes to fill.
It is,
Very
man. I mean, I guess he decided to be a part of the studio audience, which that's cool. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Well, we'll go ahead and pick up because I left off with Pray. So,
one of my favorite tracks out there.
Hey, I appreciate that.
I really do like that.
Appreciate that.
I mean, it's got a solid. It's one of those ones where you start off and your head's going left to right. Before you're into it, your head's going back and forth.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's a great hook.
That's good.
I love
That's
it
good.
personally.
I appreciate that, man. But, you know, with that being said, when I was putting the track listing together and I was listening to all the songs and I decided this is how I'm going to do the track listing, I was like, you know what? It's getting too serious. It's getting too heavy. I'm going with the whole spirituality and the police brutality and I'm talking about elections and all this other stuff. And people who know me are going to be like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. Man, I know that you're a serious dude. I know you do your thing. But you are a big cut up. You're a big goofball. Everybody who knows me knows I'm playing jokes and I'm a goofball. I'm a practical joker. I like to have fun. I like to goof off. So that's where the Rick James skit came from.
That was one of the first things I noticed. I believe I know this.
I had to put that in there because, you know, to give everybody like a breath of fresh air, put them back into a mind frame because people are going to be listening to this and be like, oh, my God, dude, you really? Man, and, you know, he's got me here. He's got me here. And then I hit him with a Rick James skit with a little funniness, courtesy of Dave Chappelle, you know, who I love to death.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to add some fun to it. And so there's the fun and there's the laugh, the joke, the refreshing breath of fresh air. Now back to your regularly scheduled program, already in progress. That's what I wanted to do, and that's where Influential came from, which, by the way, is an old track. I mean, I would probably say 2010 old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was that long ago. But I love the beat so much. My buddy Curtis, who I wish would pick music back up, made this beat like in 2009. I loved it. I picked it up and I ran with it. I wrote to it, recorded it. He was like, dude, this is what I wanted. How did you know? And I was like, hey, man, you know, mental telepathy. But I put it on actually an older mixtape that I did, and which is way, way back. I was like, you know what? I got to go back to this. You know, I had this instrumental sitting around. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to redo it again. Redid it again. Off to the races. I love the beat. Love the song. Just what I was doing. Pretty much what it is just me doing this beat, just me tearing it down.
Yeah, it's got that lazy horn in it too during the chorus.
Yes.
It really hooks you back around.
Oh man, that was great.
That's one of the parts of that thing. I mean, it goes in with what you're saying too.
That's what it is. You know, it's something about hip hop and smooth jazz that a lot of people really have to understand, because hip hop and smooth jazz go hand in hand. And I've been listening to a lot of hip hop, a lot of smooth jazz, and I love it. I mean, I'm just like, and then you put it together, and you're just like, oh man, where's this been my whole life?
Right.
and so it's incredible. That's the reason why I love that song. Now, on to Influential, to the Ode to the Woman of God. Now, this is where Jody comes in. Jody Johnston comes in. But now, the thing about it is this was after the tape, but he messaged me and he talked about, you know, here's the thing, you know, Shannon, I love what you're saying. I love what you're doing with this tape. You got to appeal to the ladies because ladies like to spend money. If they like you, then that means you're going to get paid because they're going to spend money. And he had a solid point, but that was before I was a nuance to Jody. But that was before I did this song. That was way before that. I actually was listening to Mr. J. Medeiros, which is the guy that I covered this song from. And I like the beat. I like the song that he did. The song's called Her Wings. I like the beat. I was like, you know what? I can do something to this. And so I decided to. And I wrote about it. Nobody really in particular, because I have been asked about this before. Is it anyone in particular? No, it's not anyone in particular. At least not yet. But it's no one in particular. It was just something that was on my brain at that time. Something that, you know, it's kind of like, you know, wishful thinking, if you will. That was what I was trying to accomplish with that song. But you never know. It might be for somebody out there. Somebody might take the song and run with it. And if you do, you credit the man. Do so. But, yeah, definitely. Now, after that, of course, more funny. Anybody who knows me, of course, you guys all know I'm a big wrestling fan. And, of course, I had to add a wrestler that I admire a lot, and that wrestler is Booker T. So, of course, Booker T was one of my favorites. I grew up with Booker T, loved Booker T to death. And that actually set the tone for the next track that I like. I had to add, and, of course, there were other people also, too. With the mixtape being called Five Finger Discount, there were nuances to the number 5. And I didn't notice until I got done with the tape. I didn't notice.
Subconscious.
Really, I mean, I had no idea, and that was the funny part because the very first, going back to the Carlito Brigante intro, he says, and it didn't take no 30 years, like Your Honor thought, but only 5, and I was like, oh man, because I mean, I wanted to add that intro in there because it was talking about what I was thinking, of course, but. When he said that, I'm like, oh, I got to add that in there. I'm going to keep that in there. So, and then Booker T being the five-time WCW champion, I had to add that in there too. So that was another nuance in number 5, which was totally unexpected. But also Booker T being one of my favorites. Then setting up for my favorite song off of the tape, which is Heel Turn.
That's a good one.
Funny part about that song too, another old song. A song I had laying around. I wrote that song, and I was like, man, I actually like this. And, of course, sent the idea to Ryan. Ryan said, I'm going to get you. Of course, I made nuances to some of my favorite wrestlers. Razor Ramon made some of my references to Stone Cold, to The Rock, to Macho Man, to Triple H. Made some odes to those wrestlers because, I'm a fan of wrestling. Been a fan of wrestling for years. And I wanted to do a song that kind of embodied my love for wrestling. Of course, my love for hip-hop, and, of course, my love for wrestling as well, too. All in one package. So that's what I wanted to do. And, of course, when they say heel turn, they mean turning against the fans. What I wanted to embody with the heel turn is meaning that I'm going against the crowd because the crowd is like usually a phrase that I thought of when you're doing something is countdown to you can't make it. But then when you do make it, when you actually do get some success off of what you're doing, it's a countdown to when you sell out. My concept in that song is I'm not selling out. It's not happening. I'm not going to just take money or take love just from other people just because it's good for business. I'm doing what I feel is right in my heart. I'm doing what is right in my conscience because I'm one of the type of people, I try to go to bed with a peace of mind every night. That's me all day. If something that I'm trying to do when I'm chasing after what I'm chasing after, if I don't have a peace of mind with it, if I'm not okay with it at the end of the day, then I don't want a part of it. That's what I wanted to do with Heel Turn. And, of course, it's a song that people will enjoy and people will want to love. Yes.
Completely respectable, too. I mean, again, there's always a big debate about artist integrity and blah, blah, blah. What makes the best music is when they really do what they want to do.
Yes.
When you've got, once that pressure sets in, you start being forced to write music. Music's never meant to be forced, as we all know.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what's after Heel Turn?
Song Cry. Now, okay, I get a little sappy in this song. I get a little savvy. Yes, I do. But first, before that, if anybody were to ask me what piece of work, if I get asked, hey, what piece of work made you believe that you wanted to do this, wanted to be a hip-hop artist? And that, of course, is Jay-Z's The Blueprint, which the Library of Congress is going to recognize as a piece of artwork. Jay-Z, he's my 4th favorite rapper of all time. I love Jay-Z. I love this guy. I mean, he's one of my favorites. He's one of the guys that I feel like, made me want to do this. And The Blueprint was that album. And, of course, Song Cry is on The Blueprint. And so, see, the thing about it is with that song is that, I must let people know one thing that you have to do when you're writing music, especially being a hip-hop artist, no man wants to be vulnerable. No man wants to be, put in a weak spot.
Right.
Nobody wants to be put in that. In this song, I put myself in a weak spot. The reason I did that, and to be real about it, I'm not really a fan of song cry. I'm not a fan of my own. I'm not a fan of it. The reason why is because I'm vulnerable in the song. I don't want to be that, but you have to understand, being a human being, there's times we got to be vulnerable. In this song, I'm vulnerable. I pretty much talk about a past relationship that went bad because of me, because of my selfishness, because of my silliness. I hurt a person. It's not the simple fact that I want this person back. It's not the fact that I want this person to be back with me. It's just a simple fact of, if I could go back and say, hey, you know what? This isn't the person that I am. This isn't the person that I portrayed myself to be. Okay. Then that would be satisfying for me. Not if, this person stayed with me. It's just a simple fact of, if I could go back and do it over again, I would show the person that I was. And that's more or less what I wanted to embody in Song Cry. And I feel like I did.
I can see that. No, I can see that. Now, I didn't know that. I obviously listened to it.
Sure.
Everything, so that's nice to get the background. And again, it makes it more just heavy.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Brave of you to put it out like that.
Yeah, I mean, it was heavy. I mean, it was very, very heavy. I was like, oh, my God. What am I doing with this? At first, I debated on putting it on there. I debated. I was like, should I? I didn't want to waste my buddy Brian's time. I was at his old apartment recording. I didn't want to waste his time. That's my boy. I love him to death. He actually was the one that told me, dude, why don't you just go ahead and put it out there, man? Don't limit yourself. And I was like, okay. And so consider it done. It's been done.
Awesome.
Yeah. Then I cranked the party back up because, once again, I'm one of those type of people. I cannot be super serious. I'm serious when I need to be. I can turn it on and turn it off. I'm serious when I need to be. So that's when Wait Your Turn came. Wait Your Turn is one of my favorite songs. It's a party song. It's a song where people get up and, out of their skin. They jump out of their skin. That's what I want out of this song. I want it to be a fun atmosphere. I want it to be something that everybody can look at and be like, man, I love this song. But then when you actually sit down and you listen to it, it's a song where, of course, everyone, when you're doing something in life and you want to be the best that you can, you're going to have people that are not going to be cool with that. Mm-hmm. You're going to have people that, oh, you're not going to do well. You're not going to do well. They're going to naysay. They're going to be a bunch of haters. You're going to have those people. And that was what I wanted to embody in that song, was just to say, you know what? Hey, if I were you, hey, I'd be doing the same thing. I would hate my success. I would hate other people's success. I would be a miserable person. If I were you, hey, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The sad part about it is I've been here before. So don't sit here and think that, I've never had people disrespect me or anything like that. I've been there before. And if I were you, I'd do the same thing. So, that's fine. Get in line. It stretches down the block around the corner. Wait your turn to go ahead and say what you have to say. But I'm not really caring, so it doesn't matter.
What we're living in, working for a better future. Trying to kill me in my dreams, you ain't Freddy Krueger. Lex Luger, Mike's title belt around my waist. Maybe that's the case, but yet and still I'm gonna pray. God has been too great. If you ask me how I'm doing, man, I really can't complain. I'm living and I'm breathing. What more can I say? And I'ma be prepared for what is sent my way. I'ma hit my knees and pray, regardless what they say. If you ask me how I'm doing, man, I really can't complain. I'm living and I'm breathing. What more can I say? And I'ma be prepared for what is in my way. Sickness.
Hell yeah. So, listen, folks, I'm going to go enjoy some sunshine, enjoy my man Falcon, enjoy damn Shannon. Just damn enjoy it.
Yeah, so Falcon will pick up where we left off with a song of mine, of course, going back to the smooth jazz concept, a song called Stay, which really is got a funny meaning to it, got a double entendre as well, too, with it. When I first heard Nas's Life is Beautiful album, this was one of my favorite. This actually, I would have to say, is my favorite song off the album because of the mellow feel of the song. And when I was listening to the album in its entirety, when I got it in the mail, I listened to it, and I was just like, this song is great. I played that song back probably about 20, 30 times that day. Like, everywhere I went, I played at the house. I played it when I was driving. I played it when I was driving home from places. And this was all in one day.
Right.
This was all in one day.
That makes you want to go listen to it.
Yes.
Out and about and actually enjoy it.
Absolutely. So I did that. I remember hanging out with somebody at the end of for most of the night. So I was without the song for a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I went and hung out with one of my friends that night. And when I was getting home, this was about, maybe 12 a.m. And I was still listening to that song, still listening to it. And I was like, I'm writing to this song. I wrote to that song, wrote the first verse. I figured I was going to go to bed. I did not go to bed until I finished that song. I didn't go to bed. I said, no, I'm doing this.
It hit you.
And it got there, and it got done that night. I got done at like 2 in the morning. I went to bed after that. I went to bed fulfilled. I slept good. It's like what Carlito Brigante said in the book After Hours. Slept good. Once my mind's made up, I don't sweat for nothing. So that's basically how that was. And so Stay was put about. I wanted to do that song because I literally stayed up all night doing the song. That's why it's the double entendre right there. The song's called Stay, but I stayed up all night writing this song. Yeah. And now, going to another vulnerable song of mine. Another vulnerable song. Which, to be real about it, I hate that song more than song Cry. I really do. No lie. It's because of the vulnerability of that song. There's times where you got to be vulnerable, especially, when you're walking the spiritual way that I walk. You got to let people know, hey, look, I was vulnerable at one point in time. I know you're going through this. I know you're going through it. I've been there before. This is my insight on it. So I did that with this song called Virgo, which was about a girl that I liked. I really liked this girl. It went south, like very, very south. It wasn't one of those kind of things where it was like, it went south and I was just like, wait, please don't go. Don't go, don't go, don't go. That's the vulnerability of that song. Like Song Cry and that song are different songs because in Song Cry, it didn't hit me until like a year after. I mean, Virgo hit me like 2 minutes. It was like, it ended. I'm like, nah, please don't. And it was one of those that kept continuing. But the way that I wrote the song, what it was about is that more or less I'm like, I know it's a rap. I know it's over. I get it. I understand it's over. But consider where I'm coming from. Consider why I'm saying what I'm saying. Consider that. That's all I want you to do is consider. And I'm also saying, even though it's over, I look at all the good stuff. I don't think of it bad. I don't think of it as a bad situation. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't bad. And it goes to show you, you meet people. You don't meet anyone by accident. It's one of those you were meant to meet that person, whether it was good, whether it was bad, whether it was ugly.
For whatever reason. Your life needed it.
Exactly. And, I really feel like, that's what that was for, and that Virgo was for teaching me a lesson. So if you hear that, if you hear this interview, Virgo, I don't feel the same way that I used to, but thanks a lot for teaching me a lesson. I really appreciate that.
That's awesome, man.
Okay, the sap is over. All right, that's done. That's it. The sap is over. No vulnerability no more because it's done. It's a wrap. It's over. So I go to Runway, which many, 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 many people have told me that Runway is their favorite track off of this tape. And I'm like, I'm so glad because it took me about 6 years to write that song. It really did. The reason why is because the instrumental, I remember downloading the instrumental. I remember that happening and downloading the instrumental. I sat there with it, and it was just so good. I'm sitting here like, this instrumental is awesome. It's great. It's wonderful. But what am I going to write to it? What am I going to write to it? I'm sitting here the whole time like, man, I want to do something to this. I don't know where to begin. So, finally, 6 years later, it hit me. I knew where to begin. So I went to town with it. Runway is a song basically saying, going after what I love. I'm going after it. Once I take off, once my wheels leave the runway, that's where it's going. Once I get my idea, once I get my mind set, and my mind is set, there I go, off to the clouds, off to it. And that is my motto. That's something that I live by. And then the last actual track is Legacy, which was a J. Cole cover. I love J. Cole. I love that guy. He's one of my favorite rappers. Of course, him being from North Carolina also is a good thing. But the reason why definitely. The reason why I picked this song out was because when I worked in the school system, which of course, this is kind of vulnerable, but kind of not. I worked in the school system. I loved it. I actually stopped doing music when I was in the school system. I felt like, you know, music was a fun run. It was just me being, you know, it was me being a kid. It was just me, you know, something that I thought was going to be where my life is, but unfortunately it's not. Well, actually, it wasn't really unfortunate. I'm just saying it's not. I kind of was like, "Whoa, it's a wrap. It's over. I'm done." You know, the school system is where I need to be. You know, you need men. You need black men in the school system, especially where I'm from. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this education thing a try. Then I lose my job. 2 years into it. 2 years wasn't near enough. But kids found out. Some of my students found out that I actually did music at one point in time. They found that out. And so the thing about it was, I was thinking about going back into it even while I was in the school system, but I ended up losing my job beforehand. So I was like, man, you know, it hurt. It sucked. But, you know, that's fine. But later on, when I finally got that spark, and it was about in February of 2017, actually, I got that spark back. And I was like, yo, I'm back into it. I'm back doing this. Then when I had to do a song that embodied that legacy was a song. I took the January 28th beat from J. Cole and went from there. And when I wrote the song, I was just writing it, and I remember writing it. It took me a day to write. But my favorite part was the very last, like, small verse where I just pretty much embody it. And at one point in time, take away my degrees, erase all of my quotes, discredit my accolades, turn me into a ghost, throw rocks in my name. My favorite rapper told y'all that I ain't no joke since the moment I came. Had my office is cool, teach the classes I taught. At the end of the day, we're cut from the same cloth. No, I don't have the job, but you got to admit, those shoes will never quite fit. Long live Mr. Smith. And when that happened, I was like, man, you know, when I was like, I have to keep this. And there were kids that were coming up to me and saying, long live Mr. Smith. I was doing that. I was doing that as like on my Facebook statuses. Like when I finally got over it, because it took me a minute to get over, you know, losing my job. It took me a while because, you know, it was around the time for school to begin. It was during my break, as a matter of fact. It was during my month-long break in July because I'm an 11-month employee. I still got paid for the month of July, but I didn't do any work during July. And I ended up losing my job. I was called in and told I lost my job the second week of July. And I'm just like, man, you know, it really hurt. And, you know, the circumstances, which I will probably write about later on in another song, I'm not going to fill that time up. But the thing about it is that when I finally got over it and finally got a grip on things, that's when I started coming out and just realizing, you know what, things happen. It is what it is. Game, set, match. And legacy was wrote. Bam. There you go. And the last but not least, the outro. From the courtroom, when they're outside the courtroom. And when Davey Kleinfeld looks at Carlito and says, that was some line of crap you gave him in there. And he said, hey, that was no line of crap. I mean, every word I said, you know, you don't understand. I'm a free man, and I'm not talking just out of jail. And he pulls the Martin Luther King, the free at last part, which, to be real about it, that's how I felt. Because, you know, when you actually are in the process of changing your life, when you're in the process of doing things, there are going to be people that say, you know what, dude, you're just going to go back and do the whole thing that you used to do. I don't know why you're kidding yourself and kidding us and everybody that you know. You're still going to go back and do this silly stuff because that's all you know. And me, what I'm saying is, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go do what it is that I'm going to be doing when it comes down to using the gift that God gave me and my spirituality. I'm not going back down that road. I know where I've been. You don't know where I've been, but I do. So that's where I look at people and I tell people, when people say that, you know, that's not going to be me. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be there, and that's why I put it there. I felt like it'd be the best way to end the tape. Most definitely.
That's killer, Shannon. I mean, really, and again, I've listened to the album several times myself. It's something that you guys got to check out. You said it's on SoundCloud, right?
SoundCloud.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough. I do have a physical copy. I know the man, the genius himself. So I'm lucky enough to get that. But I mean, it sounds like you had a great time doing it, and all the influence and stuff that piled together to make an album like that. The people don't realize how many things go into something like that. Especially, I mean, it was 18 tracks total.
Yeah, it was 18.
You know, I mean,
man, I really appreciate that.
It's just
excellent material.
Hey, I appreciate every bit of that. I learned a lot from it. I can honestly say when I look at it, because, you know, there's some things that you do and you're just like, oh, man, you know, I really did this. But, you know, later on down the road, I can look at it and say, I did this and I can be proud about it. And it's something that I look at and say, if I could do it again, you better believe in a heartbeat I would. So that's what I wanted out of this. You know, I mean, I hope that everybody enjoyed it just as much as I love making it, because I had a ball.
Oh, yeah.
I loved every
like
bit
you
of it.
said, you're going to keep going. I mean, I know you got some stuff in the works. So
Absolutely.
we can't wait to see that. But
It'll be here.
Shannon, hey, thanks for stopping by here on Wild Stories. I'm as close as the Wild West as you're going to get for the day.
Yeah.
We got Keith on camera. Appreciate that. Over in the Polar Division of 20th Century Media.
Yeah.
You guys like and subscribe. Check out his CD and everything on SoundCloud. We'll put a link to it down in the description. And catch you next time on Wild Stories.
Oh, yeah.
Time to get wild.
What up, Big West? See what I got on this. Yo, sit back and relax and watch this rapid fire Q&A display. Live and direct, the champ is here. Have no fear, so keep it rocking, knocking heads off the competition. Take a listen, while I spit this introduction. I'm nice when in between percussions. Don't forgive him beats concussions. But Wild West is even better. The only difference is he's a storyteller on this episode. What up, man? So grab you a drink, kick your feet up while I beat up this track. Jack his jaw if you will, so chill. Silence your cell phone and shut your mouth, and let the man put it down. Let's go. So everybody put your hands together for the man of the hour. But before he goes on, I got a little more, if you don't mind. Yo, humble beginnings, but now he's winning. Notice the title belt shimmering across his waist. The audience takes a seat, but they don't want me. They want the next best thing up on this MIC. So I please the crowd. Give the stage to the man with the plan, who's got the world inside of his hands, trying to get you to understand he's taking the land from the north, the south, the east, the wild, wild west. Yes, yes. MC, Essential, and my man, the Wild West, y'all, the Wild West, y'all, the Wild West, y'all.